First on BBC One, time for See Here.
Hello there, how are you?
I'm fine, good morning. It's a bit chilly outside.
Could you sign in and put the time, please? We've got a few minutes, so why not get some tea?
Yeah, okay.
The clubhouse is of great value for a lot of the members, like those of us who've been referred from Old Church. It's very important for members who've been mentally ill. The clubhouse can help them feel better about themselves and their illness. It's important that we're able to use this service. It's so important.
The clubhouse model was established 15 years ago. It was set up because the users wanted an alternative to the hospital environment. Well, hospitals, they're fine, and yes, they provide some activities, but they don't really relate to real life. Whereas here, at the clubhouse, the activities we have, they have a purpose which relate to work, communication, social skills, things like that, so that users can develop themselves, build up confidence, and can become a whole person. What's interesting is that the clubhouse, here at Falcon House, is the very first in the world to cater exclusively for deaf users.
This place was in a terrible state. So some of the members and some of the staff decided to paint it. And it's starting to look a bit better now. There's a real sense of equality. It doesn't matter if you're one of the members or one of the staff. We're all just the same here.
Welcome everyone to the Falcon House policy meeting. I'm going to be chairing this meeting today, so who'd like to help me chair? Anyone like to help me?
I'll help you if that's okay.
Okay, thank you. Remember we talked about smoking, alcohol and drugs. Does anyone want to say anything else about it? Are we all happy with the policies, or would anyone like to see anything changed?
Yeah, I've got a problem. As you know, we can't smoke indoors, so we have to go outside if we're smoking. But that now means that there are all these cigarette ends lying around in the yard. It looks terrible, and so that's a problem.
We need a sign to tell people to be tidy. Out where people smoke, on the wall, there. That's what we have to do.
The policies are about sharing and respecting each other to stop any problems, like with smoking. These policies are made in the house meetings. The whole point is that we respect each other. We discuss things, so we're all clear and the problems shouldn't happen again, which I think is important to keep this place going. I wouldn't want to see it spoiled. I want it to carry on. It's been good for me, and I just hope that in the future it'll stay open.
Move that bit up and that bit down.
What I thought I'd do is make that bit smaller and then this part here with the egg bigger.
Do you want to try that?
Yeah, I'll give it a go.
Can you show me?
I didn't make the decision myself to join the clubhouse. I was referred here. Old Church referred me to the clubhouse because there's things for me to do here rather than just being stuck at home bored. There's nothing for me at home, so it's better that I'm able to come here. There's a lot more going on. And it also helps to build up your confidence, slowly.
Help yourselves.
Did you watch the match on television when Manchester United were playing?
I think you should stop watching the football. You should watch the programme Real Women for a change.
Yeah, well, I hope that...
Well, you might learn something if you watch that programme.
Yes, you might. I really enjoy the clubhouse because it's much more relaxed and flexible. Everybody's friendly, they're very nice people, and we all get on really well together and help each other. It's not really strict. You don't have to do things. And we do have a laugh as well at times.
Lip reading is a skill that comes naturally to most of us, whether you're deaf or not. The very act of observing someone's lips and facial expressions is an automatic yet integral part of our body language. Being deaf, it's a skill that I rely upon enormously. Without it, I wouldn't understand a thing anybody says. And with a lifetime of practice behind me, I have to admit, I think I'm pretty good. However, not everybody can lip read, and it can be particularly difficult for those who become deaf at some point in their lives. Fortunately, some very clever people, Drs. Michael Brook and Simon Scott, here at the University of Bath, are working to develop lip reading teaching for the future. So, Simon, what is all of this?
This is a project I've been working on for the last 6 years now. It's called Visual Speech Synthesis. The idea is you type in a sentence in English and it produces lip movements associated with the sentence.
So, can you show me how it works then?
To make it work, what we first of all did was film the speaker. Got about an hour of speech. We fed this into a computer and made mathematical models reach the sounds in English. Once we have these models, we can start building a synthesizer. The synthesizer takes in an English language sentence and looks up each word in the dictionary to find out what sounds are actually in the word. The models, which are the sounds, are then invoked in order to produce an animated sequence.
So you can actually write anything down, it'll speak to you?
Yes.
Okay. So can you type in a sentence for me, say, can I have a pint, please?
Okay. I'll have a pint, please. As you see, it's very accurate and it's very readable.
In the simplest possible terms, what we'd probably say is that we have a computer that is able to learn from looking at pictures of a real human talker how human talkers move their faces to make speech sounds. So we present it with a lot of pictures of a human talker, and it builds for itself its internal picture, if you like, of how humans move their faces to make the talking sounds. When it's learnt sufficient about that, we can then say to the computer, in effect, now, here are a sequence of sounds we would like to put together, and it's a sequence that might make up a spoken sentence, for example, and ask the computer to string together what it's learned about the individual sounds by watching a human and reproduce those so as to generate, if you like, the picture of what a human face would do to make them as well. And then it plays them back, and that's what the pictures are that you'll be looking at.
The aim of the project was to build a visual speech synthesizer, which has a number of applications. One such application is helping deaf people with lip read. Obviously, it will not replace a real live speaker teacher, but it can help with things like homework and so on. I'll give you a quick demonstration. We have a lesson here for deaf people. You just type a carrier phrase, a carrier sentence. This is a boy's name went to the party.
Right.
The user then just has to guess what the boy's name was. We chose 8 names, like Michael, Paul, John, and you just guess the right one.
The thing is, though, for me, lip reading is not just about the lips, it's about the whole face, you know. Why haven't you got that?
We don't have this here. The main reason being, what to fit a plus computer, it takes a lot more time and memory to generate the face. Also, you need a lot of language modelling, understanding what the words mean. You want to raise your eyebrows, you have to understand when to raise it. This system just works on sounds and phonemes, not the actual meaning of the words. So it'll be a lot more complex model, and be very difficult to fit into a simple PC at the moment.
We have made huge progress in the last 3 years. We now have a device which is, in our estimation, many times better than it was 3 years ago. I've already indicated, I think, on several occasions to various people that we don't really pretend that it's a fully functional package ready to go into use tomorrow. But as you've probably seen today from your visit here, we're actually trying to apply it to smaller and simpler machines like personal computers with the hopes of making it more readily and widely available. And we certainly foresee that if we can get the funding to continue the work, which is always a big qualification on research, of course, that we might be able to develop it within maybe 5 or 10 years, I should think, to something which is much more powerful and much more readily and generally available.
Nowadays, we've grown used to microchip technology playing an increasingly important role in our everyday lives. It's everywhere, from the mobile phone, microwave, to the kitchen toaster. But I don't suppose anybody could ever have predicted that one day we'd be learning how to communicate better with other people by talking to a computer. Hello, how are you? I'm all right, thanks very much.
So now I want all your attention, please, because you're going to have to listen with your eyes. First of all, how many of you know sign language? Yeah. What sign language do you know?
Aeroplane.
Baby, that's very good, yes.
Rabbit. Dog. Cat. Guinea pig.
We know cat.
Fish.
Rabbit. Aeroplane. Yeah, I think you've been looking at this book, haven't you? Well, as a child, I had perfect hearing. But gradually, I think my hearing began to deteriorate in my late teens. I found, looking back and trying to pinpoint just exactly when it did start, I realised then it was when I stopped going out to places, wanting to meet people, and I got rather withdrawn at that time. We also had a shop, and I found I was making quite a lot of mistakes with what people wanted, with hilarious results sometimes. But, but it gradually got worse and worse. First of all, you need to know, for sign language, is the finger spelling A, B, C. We've also, if you have a look through here, you'll see how you have a picture for a word. And you do a sign for that word. What gave me the idea for the book, first place, was when I was going to the Deaf Club to learn sign language. One of the head people at the Deaf Club was James Somerset and his wife, Netta. They are two profoundly deaf, signing people. They had a little daughter, Amelia, who was hearing. I met Amelia when she was about 18 months old, and the parents were very proud of her. So Amelia was signing to me, telling me what sign for cow, sign for pig, sign for different animals. And I asked James if Amelia had a book that would help her with this. And he just, oh, no, there's nothing like that. And I couldn't believe that there was nothing like that for deaf children or hearing children to learn a little sign like that. And I couldn't believe there wasn't one. 3 fingers, twice on your hand like that. Further, do it round like that. That's very good. Fish. Sister. All family signs. Getting the idea for that book started me up, and I found it, even with the total deafness, I was able to go and see top people all over because I was working for that book, and what the ideal of what I wanted was something for deaf children, which by that time, seeing my own grandchildren and their friends coming and doing it, made me realise it was for all children, not just deaf. It was for deaf children and hearing children. And that is how it got its name, Learning Together. We had the problem of getting it published. No commercial publishers would entertain it, so that left it to us. We had to raise the funds and try and get it printed ourselves. This proved very difficult because we had to raise in the region of £5,000. And, well, neither me or Jackie had any money. So we started going out, giving talks, sending letters and that to different charities. But after 3 years from the start of the book, we had the money and it was published. We've had a big order in for games, Jackie, so we'll have to get some made up.
Right.
So we've got to get busy with them.
How many do we need?
Well, we need about 50, I should think. My hopes for the future, oh yes, what they've always been, that every primary school in the country will use Learning Together ABC at the primary age. It fits in with the school curriculum. The teachers don't have to have any special training whatsoever. The children love it. And once it's there, for those children, it's there for life. Now, when you go home today, I want you to be able to say, I love you, Mummy. Can you do that when you get home?
Yes.
That would be very good, wouldn't it?
When the doctor first told me I had a low sperm count, I felt really disappointed. It was quite depressing. I thought about tablets to try to boost the count, as we wanted children. The doctor said I could have them, but they didn't work. We'd been trying for 15 years. I felt really depressed. I wanted to be like our friends, who have their own children, and other members of my family have children of their own. We felt like the odd ones out, not having a child to see growing up.
We were disappointed, of course, that we couldn't have our own children, because we thought we had a lot to offer. We felt there was just something missing in our lives. We needed something else in our lives, and we felt a child could give us that. We talked and felt that it would be nice to have a child, so we decided to try for adoption. There are so many children without parents or a decent home.
I thought adopting would be difficult for us because we're deaf. We knew we'd have to go through a social worker, and there would be a lot of very difficult questions they'd want us to answer. That's what it all depends upon.
We sent in our initial application. Then we received a letter saying that they would like to meet us. We were given a date for an interview. We had an interpreter. The process started from there.
We involved an interpreter, obviously, from the very first interview that we had with them, and that has always been the case, and that's been very important to help them in terms of communication. And I think during things like the preparation groups that we ran, we had to think about what the issues were for Lorraine and Alan as deaf people in a group of otherwise all-hearing people, really. So yes, I think it has been quite challenging for the agency, but I hope that we have managed to make the provision that we've needed to make for Lorraine and Alan in that, really.
A few of the questions that they asked were really difficult, and Alan explained that although some of the questions were suitable for hearing people, they needed to be phrased differently for deaf people because they were difficult to understand. They changed a few of them around, but I think some deaf people just wouldn't have grasped them, and I think there could easily have been misunderstandings. We managed to get some of the questions changed on the form, but when we were in the group sessions, being deaf meant that we just sat there watching the interpreter the whole time. It was really tiring. I'm still not sure that I followed it all.
Obviously, we particularly focused on issues about the deaf culture and about how they, as deaf people, function in a hearing community as well, because they both do. They both have very strong links with the deaf community and also with the hearing community. And that was very much an asset, that they have a lot to offer because of that, you know, because they do function in both. So we focused very much on that, but on all sorts of other issues about themselves and about the type of children who need to be adopted and what they could offer as prospective adopters, about their contact already with children and therefore their parenting skills. They've been accepted for one child, boy or girl, 0 to 2 years, and they are approved for a deaf or partially hearing or hearing child.
We were so pleased. We just couldn't believe it. I didn't think that we would be accepted, because as Christine says, they've never had a deaf couple before. I was feeling a little doubtful, so I was surprised, and I felt like saying to Alan, "Let's go for a drink."
They are offering a very special resource which very few prospective adopters can offer. And in that sense, if a child comes along who is the right child for them, they stand a very high chance of being linked with that child. They're not going to be competing with lots of other deaf prospective adopters. So in that sense, they stand a very good chance. But we have no way of guaranteeing that that child will come along for them.